Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, we are continuing with our research on Islam Heart of Love, of the nature of our existence and what are the axiology of Islam, the ontology, epistemology of Islam and so on, which will integrate with nature of consciousness and understanding and so on. So in the previous video, I have given you some idea of how we're going to go to the circles of unity. So as we go along, we would then understand. First, we're talking about unity of the Ummah, and one of the bases that we can use is the Amman Declaration, where more than 200 alim and ulama from all the various schools of Islam, the Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the Salafis, the Sufis, the Shia, and many other schools, they come together and we can develop a unity of the Ummah, opening our hearts with the heart of love to all various ideas from competing schools. Doesn't matter. As I mentioned, we can take the best of Salafism, we can take the best of Sufism and bring it to the center. No doubt, 90% of the Muslims, we are Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah within the framework of the four schools. But even within the framework of the four schools, we must be flexible enough to be able to understand the nature of the existential question of the existence of the civilization itself. This 21st century is very critical. What we do now will affect the future of our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. And maybe at that point, maybe this civilization may collapse if we do not take something to act on. So we have this unity of the Ummah, and expanding the unity of the Ummah is unity of humanity. So Islam must be the deen of love, the deen of peace, the deen of forgiveness, the deen of justice, and the deen of gratitude. So we develop the Ummah based on the unity from internally. Our Ummah, we radiate this beauty out to the world. So when we radiate this beauty, then people will see the beauty of Islam. Then you won't see this idea of mass killing, suicide bombing, slavery by ISIS, extremist view, very hard view of existence, the division between Muslims and non-Muslims, because we cannot carry on with the old way of thinking, the paradigm based on my earlier videos, based on the situation in which we Muslims go through terrible hell, which we still going through, but we must find a via media approach in which the unity of the Ummah will radiate love, radiate peace, radiate forgiveness, radiate justice, gratitude, and many other values that we need in the 21st century. Because if we do not do that, this unity of humanity, then it will be a free-for-all. If, for example, this climate disaster, climate change, cause crop failure, there is already now scientists in a number of scientific papers, we are only 3 harvests away from global hunger. That means because of the whole system of monoculture, the whole system of so-called greedy agriculture, where we destroy this earth and we destroy the temperature of this earth, the increasing temperature, and we put in fossil fuel, the trees are now under stress. So the plants, whether it is maize, wheat, potatoes and so on, they are collapsing, because if there is rain, there's too much rain. If there's no rain, it's too hot. So they cannot adapt genetically to this new situation. So we are 3 harvests away from global hunger. So what happened when there's global hunger? You mean only the rich will have food and the poor will die of hunger? If that is the case, then maybe billions of human beings will die, and within that billions, many of them will be in the sub-Sahara, for example. They are Muslims. Many of them will be in India and Pakistan. There are Muslims and non-Muslims there. Many of them will be in China. Many of them will be in Southeast Asia. Many of them will be in Europe. Where are they going to go to? So this is an issue in which our theologians must be more open with the heart of love. Without this heart of love, we'll still be in our little cocoon. Okay, oh, I am a Sunni, you are a Shia, I'm a Salafi, I'm a Sufi. So we build little cocoons, and then we just move along without really bringing together this beautiful deen as Allah has ordained. A deen of love, a deen of peace, a deen of forgiveness, a deen of justice, a deen of gratitude. So if we do that, then we bring about a new civilization, unity of earth and all its creatures and resources. So we Muslims then must be able to help this unity of human beings. That means we live together with all those people who are diverse, because Allah has ordained this diversity. There we have 1.7 billion Muslims out of the 7 billion humanity today. Out of that, maybe 2.5 billion are Christians, and then you have Hindus, 1+ billion, and so on. So we have to live with all of them until Yawmul Akhir. We have people of diverse view, because Allah ordained our life on this earth as a ground for belief or disbelief, acceptance of God or rejection of God. So for the atheists, the materialists, it's a fallacy in terms of that everything is based on materialism. It is a fallacy, but they took that route. Then it is their choice. But we still can live as neighbors in the spirit of we are all human beings and all its creatures. Now we're going through the 6th mass extinction of all creatures. At the rate we are killing our insects, our mammals, our fishes, there'll be no fish left in 30 years. That's not far, 30 years. This is the age of my children. At the rate we are exploiting the seas until it becomes barren, we are actually destroying every single chain of the life cycle that we are dependent upon. So if the species dies, we're going to die. So the same thing with resources. We exploit all the oil and gas and so on, and put so much CO2. Now CO2 level is the highest in the history of this earth for more than 3 billion years. Very long. From the ice core they can drill, and then you can see that never had the CO2 level exceeded 280 parts per million. Now it is 415 parts per million. And the projection at the rate we are pumping fossil fuel CO2, by another 10 years time, it will be around 450 parts per million. At that level, temperature will rise 2 to 4 degrees. At that level, the whole positive feedback system, the loop feedback system, will take on its own course, and this earth will be destroyed. So we have no choice but to react now to bring about the unity of the earth and its creatures. So I have explained this in great detail in my previous video on climate change, on unity of the Ummah, unity of humanity, and unity of this earth. Now we have to look at the unity of the cosmos and the universe. How do we view this cosmos, this universe? We are living within the cosmic scheme. We are just a little atom. This earth is just a little atom within the visible universe, because visible universe is just one little postage stamp of that we see with our telescope. To the end of that, we can see still there are galaxies and billions of galaxies that are floating away. What about those that we cannot see? So it could be trillion times more galaxies than we can ever imagine in the universe, the physical universe. So we have to understand that this universe is a purpose, there is a meaning to it, and this whole creation is a manifestation of the Almighty, the All-Merciful, All-Loving, for us to realize His grandeur. Every moment He manifested the splendor of His grace, His mercy, His compassion, His love, His creativity, His power, absolute Jamal, the beauty, and Jalal, His strength. Alright? So every day we see that. So when we understand this, then we understand that finally this cosmos and everything is radiating the unity of love. So there is the unity of Tawheed. So in Islam, everything here downward, this is the batin part, or the hidden. This is hidden. Okay. For example, we talk about Tawheed, the Zat, or the essential nature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not fathomable for us. but the sifah, all right, the attributive aspect of love, mercy, compassion, creativity, absolute will, power, and so on, all the 99 names that we reflect upon, Rahman, Rahim, and so on, all signifies the tawhidic aspect of this universe. So from the batin, Allah is the zahir and the batin. That is his attributive aspect. So the hidden part of all this manifestation that he has put to being, from Allah he puts to being all this that we see and that we understand and that we appreciate. So there is this constant, from the zahir and the batin, from the Godhood, tawhidic aspect, understanding that God is one, the absolute, Allahu Samad, the eternal, the absolute, lam yalid wa lam yulad, he is not begotten nor being begotten, wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad, and there's none like unto him. So this is understanding all that is here is his creative expression of who he is, and we as the center, the core of his creative expression can radiate outward right up to the hidden. At this higher level is the sir, the secret, in which we are only those who have traveled experientially. The great scholars of Islam, Imam Ghazali, Maulana Rumi, Ibn Arabi, and many great scholars of Islam. There are many, maybe millions of purified souls who have transcended this understanding of this unity of the cosmos to understand the batin, or the hidden reason of the existence of this universe, and the physical manifestation that we see in the zahir. So the batin and the zahir is always there, and constantly Allah is renewing his jalal and his jamal over this whole universe. So the awareness of understanding this unity of the cosmos, this cosmos at a higher level, could be the awareness that this cosmos is not just a dead cosmos. Allah tells us about the awareness of this universe. And in many verses of the Quran, inshallah, I'll give you a better understanding on the metaphysics of cosmology. Within Islam, there is again this ontological and epistemological perspective, which is very deep in Islam, that we can do a lot of research, that every manifestation that he has given through the understanding of the nature of existence will bring us to glorify Allah, the unity of Godhood. All that is we see within the realm of the cosmos, of the earth, its creatures, its resources, of humanity, of the ummah, all reflects back towards the grandeur, the creative, the absoluteness, the mercy, the compassion, the Ghafoor, the forgiving, the Wadud, the loving God who put us here to realize his grandeur, to worship him, to understand him, and reach a level of mutual love. So at the highest level, when we understand all these things, we reach a level of loving ourselves, loving the ummah, loving humanity, loving all creatures, loving the universe, and finally reaching out to loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, realizing that we are created for a purpose and meaning, to be his reflection of his Allahu nurus samawati wal ard. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. We reflect his grandeur, his love, his peace, his forgiveness, his justice, his gratitude, and all the 99 and many more attributive aspects of the greatness of Allah. And we receive the awe, the understanding, the majestic greatness and the glory of Allah, that it is beyond your imagination. Only experientially, in moment of realization, we reach a higher level of being able to understand the purpose and meaning of our life, to be the servant of Allah, to be his Khalifa, his steward on this earth, always striving for us to understand all these things, striving to make ourselves good at many levels, striving, helping others to be good, and making the world good and pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we can understand this, we will understand some idea of the beauty of this deen, that we can carry through, live by it, fulfilling the best of our existence on this planet Earth for a short while. Allah has ordained a short while on this physical plane, returning back to Allah, the spiritual plane, the first plane of our existence in the realm of Alam Alastu bi Rabbikum. May Allah guide us and give His light to our hearts and to all of us in the way of beauty, Iman, Islam and Ihsan, insyaAllah.